Hey man, you know what? Fantasy has been an adventure. It has been great.
Fantasy been trash. I'm 0-3.
And I'm 2-1 right now. Love it. Got one of my victories against Tony. I don't know if y'all remember. You know what I'm saying?
He made a video about me.
I had a defense. I got to chug my first beer, shotgun, Miller Lite. You know what I'm saying? Made me feel great. You know what I'm saying? Made me feel like the winner that I was. You know, and you know. Willing to keep that streak going, you know. I
don't see how I'm losing with D-boy right here.
Bruh, you know, things happen, man. The reason why we play the game. I think the Georgia Tech coach that got fired was Golf Collins. A reporter was saying that Deion Sanders should take, well, basically Georgia Tech should go get Deion to be the head coach of Georgia Tech. So basically they should recruit him. What's your thoughts?
I don't like it.
Huh?
I don't like it.
At all.
I don't like it.
At all.
I don't think Deion even make that move. Why we ain't go? Nah, you can stay right there, Jackson State. Keep building with the good. Why you think Georgia Tech could target him?
Because he know how to recruit them boys.
You think Deion, no matter what school he go to, he can bring in recruits?
Facts, but he can't lead HBCU though. He can't lead Jackson State. He building something.
How long you got to stay there before you feel like you need to stay there forever?
I think the ultimate goal is to block everything dealing with the HBCU up. You know what I'm saying? Getting them their own combine, or not even just their own combine. Like, I'm sure he didn't want to separate it. That was just the move that probably somebody else seen fit to make sure they get the proper looks. So he pushed to make sure they got each and every opportunity. So it's really like they pro day that all the scouts can come to instead of them giving an individual separate pro day. And it's on a larger scale and get campaigns. So I just think what he's building though is basically to get HBCU and all those schools viewed as a top tier program like Alabama, you know what I'm saying, Appalachian, Georgia, to get viewed like that with no, you know, any other factors. Like looking at NCAA and college football is all as one. I mean, HBCU been putting dudes in the league, so you know they can compete. So basically, I feel like Deion put some respect on it.
You think it'll take about 5 years to change it, to really get it through the roof?
When you talk about 5 years, I look at 5 years like it gives him the opportunity to prove that the format that he got going for HBCU can work. You know what I'm saying? The young guy that he got, the top recruit that signed, within them 5 years, we'll get to see him go through his whole college career. And then he enter the draft. You know what I'm saying? And based on where he gets drafted and stuff like that, if he can become a first round draft pick, as if they predict, just like he go to Florida State, what is his last name, Hunter? Travis Hunter. If Travis Hunter could be a first round pick, and hold the same kind of value that he did at Florida State, then I think at the end of the day, that'll be one of the ultimate game changers. As far as the players that, you know what I'm saying, go play for, like Deion's or any other coach in that likeness, Eddie George, or, you know, any of those coaches in the HBCU.
You ever at Tennessee State?
Tennessee State.
Who down there at Grambling? Hugh Jackson, right? You went to Grambling? Hugh Jackson at Grambling.
You know what I'm saying? So these dudes that they got NFL connections and background, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to, you know, bring their thing to life.
I don't think Deion even fit Georgia Tech. Anyway, I don't even think he go with that, even the culture, the vibe. Like, he'll have to go in there, he'll switch up everything, and I don't even think that'll even.
They ain't gonna be able to handle it.
Yeah, that's not gonna even work right.
But you know, his marketing, his branding, his, you know what I'm saying, his speech to the guys, that real thing of turn the boys and the men, that's what prime time all about. So what he got, what he's building, you can't get everywhere, and every coach ain't got it in them like that. When a coach can't relate to players, you put somebody else in another position to relate to players. I don't think, Deion, you know what I'm saying? He been in their shoes. he been in their shoes. He can relate. He know how to press the right buttons to get you to be the best you can be. And if you say you want to do this and you want to do that, you know what I'm saying, is you really doing what it takes to make it matter?
Yeah, because one thing you do preach is opportunity. Like, you got to make the most of this opportunity right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make the most of the opportunity. People out here, he know people out there, he tell them boys, people out here right now. Got to go out here and make the most of the opportunity. People are watching. He know people watching.
And even before you get that opportunity, make sure you're positioning yourself, you know what I'm saying, to capitalize on that opportunity. And that's being where you're supposed to be. That's doing the grades, no pass, no play. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then he able to give you this information on marketing and branding because he actually living that life.
I seen one post on Instagram. Dion was like, Jackson State University has the #1 Instagram. Like, they Jackson State football. #1 when it comes to marketing. Like, out of all the schools, they're #1.
And he getting involved with not just football, but with all the other sports that involved with Jackson State also. And it's a domino effect. When the money come in, I'm pretty sure like that's money that they split up amongst all sports. When you got at some schools, when you got that popular sport, they do divide the money up. And if Auburn throws the house at Dion, I still feel the same. He got to stay.
You think it's about the money when it comes to Dion regardless? Just in general, anybody. You think it's like, if somebody throw the house at Dion, you think it's about the money, or you think it's about what he's trying to teach them kids and put on for the HBCU?
I think at the end of the day, it's a balance out, right? I think at the end of the day, over the time, he'll continue to get the raise. I think he also he make money off his NIL deal, name and likeness. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody else throw a bag at him to try to convince him in a situation to create conflict, in hindsight, I think Dion's smarter than that. Because at them moments, they're going to be trying to turn Dion into a puppet. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the same as, you know what I'm saying, like Jackson State. Jackson State allowed him to be him. So some other stuff floating around out there. Brett Favre.
Floating around in Mississippi? We're floating around in Mississippi. We're floating around in Mississippi.
They call, you know what's crazy though? They calling him robbing from the poor. They say he probably took about $8 million. He got paid for speeches and stuff that he hadn't done. But the crazy thing is about it though, if he would have did what he agreed to, then to me none of that would have been a problem.
Yeah.
Because with nonprofits and stuff like that, that kind of stuff, like, I'm not saying that kind of stuff happen all the time as far as scandals, but him getting that kind of money and stuff like that.
$8 million worth, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot. It is a lot of money, but pretty much if he would have just gave the speeches or whatever that he agreed to versus getting the money, then they want to call it a scandal.
Yeah. They
want to call it he was taking money from those people. You know what I'm saying? Because some of those people that be raising money and stuff like that, it ain't 100 of the proceeds don't always go to the people.
And most of the time they do be coming from nonprofits.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the biggest thing in that situation, which makes it a scandal, is he didn't uphold his part of what he was supposed to uphold.
He's taking welfare funds.
But
They gave him welfare funds.
But in that if he would have did what he's supposed to do, I don't think they would have reported it.
So what you saying, the company sort of can be in trouble too because they passing out the welfare money?
I mean, that's the paper trail. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like when people work these they make money, they get paid to and the salary is usually based on, like, I think that's the loophole in the situation. It's almost like if it was supposed to be something for the kids that are blind. You know what I'm saying?
It depends on what it's for. That's what people looking at it as. Like, if you take money for the kids that was blind and that went to Brett Favre instead of really going to the kids, and then you really don't show up, that caused a bigger issue.
So I think the agreement as far as what you paying somebody, what you do venues for, I think all that stuff costs money.
He knew where the money was coming from, he didn't care. It's as long as he got the money.
I'm pretty sure he knew where the money was coming from.
That's tough. If you know it's coming from, like,
at welfare, right? They say in Mississippi the poor's, right? But it didn't say how much other money, how much other funds was available to the people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know if like, oh man, well they only had $5,000 left to go to the people.
But it's one thing if you know, it's another thing if you didn't know.
What you saying, like basically where it come from?
Where it's coming from. If you know they're taking that money from that type of stuff and you still be like, yeah, now you guys go back to that. That's just different.
I guess my biggest point is if it was for the Boys and Girls Club and he was doing the same thing, it still would have been a scandal. Because he didn't uphold his end of what he's supposed to do. I could be wrong.
It depends on how it's taxed too.
Okay, talk to him. I know you know some. Talk to me.
So if you take as a write-off expense, you can have a trust that then owns a nonprofit, and so instead of the money going strictly from, let's just say it's Superb Grooming, instead of you getting an income, what you can do is, because the trust owns Superb Grooming, the money goes back to the trust. In order for you to get non-taxable income, you can send the money from the trust to the nonprofit, and because you're on the board of that nonprofit, when they cut you a check for the salary, then the money is not taxed.
Gotcha.
Because it's a nonprofit. That's what people say. That's why every celebrity has a foundation, which is another word for a nonprofit. It's not because it could be for a good cause, but technically by law in the tax code, it doesn't say how much of that money has to be allocated to the cause.
Facts.
It doesn't say that. What it says that is the function that is. And if you're not spending money on buying frivolous stuff from the nonprofit, like say you go and buy a Lamborghini with $1 million, if you're paying a salary for the board, that is considered legal.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So I'm guessing with that much money, he didn't want to pay taxes on the other money, so he sent the money to the management company, which is the trust. The trust sent the money to the nonprofit, and then the nonprofit paid him in a check.
So in that situation, right, like you saying, that would be everything the way it wouldn't have been an issue and it wouldn't be considered a scandal.
Yes.
So the other part of the information is he was supposed to do something on his end. He didn't uphold that.
Right.
He got the money.
I agree with you.
No matter where it come from, that's why we're saying.
Yeah, if he would have done it would have been for
Yeah. We wouldn't even hear about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm basically saying.
All you had to do was show up.
Yeah. Show up, or if you supposed to do 4 more events or a total of 4 events,
right,
you should have made them, hey look, we got to get these 4 events done. So basically everything get done, because it basically don't say like how much you could get somebody, how much none of that is like, seem like structure.
Absolutely.
How about them Dolphins? Everybody told me I was wrong.
They got the number 1 quarterback right now, huh?
We played.
They ain't got the number
I'm not even mad.
I feel like I seen them.
They ain't got the number 1 quarterback.
I feel like I saw a post yesterday.
Man, they might have had a number 1 quarter for the week when they threw 6 interceptions for some 6 touchdowns.
He did those 6 touchdowns.
In one game, he probably was like for 1 week.
But it was a good game though, and y'all had some injuries.
But see, hold on. How do we make such a butthole football 101 mistake
At the end of the
at the
game?
end of the damn game?
So I think sometimes like you just trying to make a play, and if he would have ran out of bounds, then y'all would have had a shot at the field
We
goal.
make over $100-200 million a year.
The quarterback do, not that receiver.
Dropping the ball.
The quarterback make over $200 million, not that receiver. So
It was a good game.
I'm gonna ask this NFL vet right here. You seen the play with Tua?
Which play you talking about?
The play that was hit, that the coaches in the organization say it was a back ankle issue. The media, the press, everybody's clearly saying it was a concussion issue. Tua hit his head. He got up. He was stumbling, wobbling, looked like he about to drop again. The linemen catch him. He go to the tent. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like right around the end of the first half.
2-minute drill.
Yeah, 2-minute drill. End of the first half, he come back out, and he playing third quarter.
Well, I got 2 things to think about, man. I'm old school. That shit happen all the time. So for him to come back out and play as well as he did, he said he good to go. And if I'm sure they did all the tests they did. They not stupid. They did all the concussion tests that they passed him, right? So if he passed him, and honestly, hitting your back like that, it affects your brain. It hits your stem like that. So it could actually have been his back. So I kind of I don't know, man. If the man came out, I could see if he came out looking woozy this third quarter and he came out won the game. So for me, in my opinion, I'm like, man, yeah, he's straight. He good. There's no way they didn't put him through the concussion protocol. He said he passed it, and I'm sure he in their locker room telling them like, Coach, put me back in. I'm good.
But in the Dolphins situation, they just had a situation with Brian Flores. They just having the lawsuit. Is the Dolphin organization an organization that can't be trusted right now?
Listen, we need to the players need to learn to trust their damn self. Like at this, that much information out there, if you make judgments, if he was concussed and he went back out there and he chose to play out there and play, then we too educated now to be making decisions like that. So I think he was good in my opinion. He went out there and won a game.
I caught a concussion one time, but it was looking like Friday night lights out there, blurry like any given Sunday.
Did T. Higgins miss a game because of his concussion? Or did he come right back there?
I think he missed the rest of the game. That's another thing too, though. They basically like standard procedure might be like take the player helmet, let him sit out the rest of that game. You know what I'm saying? And then he might got a lesser percentage of getting a concussion again the following week.
Mind you, he didn't take a hit now. He just got pushed. I mean, but he hit the ground, but he also hit his back too.
Yeah. That's why his head hit because the whoop last time. Yeah, his back hit first.
So you can't say that his back. You can't say that his back wasn't hurt.
And his back hit first.
And I got back issues, and I know it's times when my legs will give out just like I look like a in the jaw. My shit will go woo woo whoa. So at the end of the day, I can feel like it could be his back.
Yeah. Tom, you played football in high school.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. You playing football in high school? Y'all played on regular grass?
That's all we had.
Okay.
When I was coming, we probably had one turf field in the county. But yeah, nobody had, so we played on the county field.
Y'all play on turf now?
Every field in Clayton County is turf now.
Okay, so when I was in Griffin, we played on grass too. And now they on turf. What y'all played in?
Man, we was hood. We got turf my senior year. We had grass with like undeemable. We couldn't even play on that field so bad. Potholes. We had all away games. My junior year, we couldn't have to play the other field at all. But anyway, go ahead.
So all right, it's a thing floating around about guys tearing their ACL. You know what I'm saying? You see Sterling Shepard, he was just jogging, just tore his ACL, Odell. And the thing is about the turf field the guys playing on, you know what I'm saying, is the cause of the rise of the injuries. Do you feel like that's true? And if so, should more people do what Arizona do? Arizona got retractable grass. You know what I'm saying? And there's still some teams out there that got grass, but it's a lot of people that move to the turf.
Honestly, I do. Grass is way better, man. I mean, I played. Yes. To your answer, the answer is yes. I do think that's the case. I think that's why the injuries. Your body, it's artificial. They should just. They have enough money to pay for grass.
Facts.
You think about running on that grass.
Even upkeep of grass.
You think about running on that grass. The difference between running on that grass and that turf, it ain't giving you no bounce for the grass. That grass soft and cushion.
But the turf basically keep the speed of the game. You know what I'm saying? Based on the weather. The grass, I feel like maybe they trying to protect the product of the game a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You mean with turf or grass?
With turf. They're protecting the value of the game. Cause you know when it get cold out there, that field start coming up easy with the snow and stuff like that.
I think it just went cheaper because they know that grass is harder to maintain and keep up throughout the season. They really rolling it out.
A lot of
because
money.
they rolling it out, picking it up over time. They playing it down. The artificial turf, they just got it out there. It's good. But I feel like a lot of them more injuries are coming from that turf. You think about injuries across the board. We see young kids tearing ACLs left and right, coming in here with torn MCL. You know what I'm saying? It's like knees, and they pretty sure they're playing on turf and not grass. Kids not really playing on grass.
And sometimes it's just freak accidents though.
That's true too. Like you see Sterling Shepard accident, that would look like just he wasn't even running full speed when he was happening.
I will say this though. I do realize when you playing on turf and you got a turf game, even when you practice through the week to make sure your legs are better, you practice on grass. You know what I'm saying? You never really practice on the turf unless it's walk through.
Because at the end of the day, under the
most
turf,
of the grass, yeah. But you got a turf area that you could do some stuff on.
under the turf is cement, dude.
No, yeah.
So eventually, that's not good for your knees. You know how your knees feel when that turf gets warm.
Oh, man, that shit be hot. Your feet be burning. In the summer, that heat make that turf hotter too. We always gotta make sure we talk your dirty bird, man.
Dirty bird, we got our first win. Got our first win against Seattle. We look good. We look good.
What you like? What you seeing so far? What you like in this victory?
What I like in this victory, I like, for one, we fight. We fight to the end. We've been fighting to the end for the last couple games. One thing I do that we do need to get more of, we need to send more receivers out in the pass game. I was watching the play last game. It was like only Drake London and Cal Pitts running out the field. Those are the only two options for Mariota. You know what I'm saying? They going against a cover 4 zone. Like, who they throwing the ball to? You know what I'm saying? You forcing him to make a throw over the linebacker. Like, you forcing Mariota to, you know what I'm saying? Not taking nothing away from his action, but you forcing him to make a throw like when you shouldn't have to do it.
So you saying basically it's on the Drake and Kyle Pitt.
Right now.
Now-
Drake, Cal Pitts, and Derek Patterson.
Now,
'Cause
is everybody else staying in the block? He need the protection.
that's a big factor. They do need protection. Because we come at, most of our sets are out of 2 tight end sets and Cal Pitts 1 tight end. The other tight end that's there, he's blocking and he releasing. If Mariota need help, he'll bail out. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what he's doing. But everybody does the block. Everybody.
So it's more of a match protection for him, which is tough in the situation because, like you saying, let's get more people in the passing game, get out there, you know what I'm saying, get us some targets. But if you can run the ball, you know what I'm saying, and
Derek Patterson been having this year running ball. He had 2 over 100-yard games right now. They might have been back to back, but he played the Rams week 2. We know their defense. So, but coming back against Seattle, go for a career high again.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Rush for another career high back to back. So that's good to see that they're utilizing him for sure.
Cordell Patterson is a hidden gem, and I think I understand for Cordell Patterson this offseason. It wasn't about going wherever he could go to get the most money. He found himself on a team that know how to utilize him and will utilize him the best that they can, and he just with it. This way I can go and be the most successful instead of going somewhere else for a couple more million, and then you'll get phased out because they don't include you in the game plan.
Defense, getting better. I like defense. Still need help on that D-line though. But I'm telling you, I miss Debo. But Mikael Walker, number 3 in the middle, that boy playing good. I like him. I like Mikael Walker. I like him. Richie Grant, shouts out to him. He got his first career interception last game.
Hey.
Shouts out to Richie Grant. You know what I'm saying? I like Richie Grant, young guy. But now we playing good overall. We definitely got Cleveland this week. Gonna be tough.
Gonna be a good one.
Gonna be a good one.
It's the NFL. Everybody, you know what
I
I'm saying?
did like last game too?
What that?
I like AJ Terrell stand in the paint with DK. You know what I'm saying? They got the best of both. They got the best of each other points of the game. But AJ Terrell, I feel like he's showing more. He listened to what these people say on the offseason about him. He's trying to prove it more now. You know what I'm saying? He come up in the res game. He come up and making tackles in the run. Like AJ Terrell is taking on blocks. He's doing a lot. He's trying to show he's an overall corner instead of just a zone corner or.
And they got him doing more too. They got him moving around a little bit more and stuff like that. So I mean, in them situations last year, it could have been more to protect him as a young player, let him get his feel of the game, let him adjust, not putting too much on his plate. Now, you know what I'm saying, he welcoming it, and then he's seeing how the game work and see, you know what I'm saying, how you have to prove yourself. So matching up with a bigger receiver like DK, you know what I'm saying, to hold him down is good.
Speaking of my Falcons, your Chiefs, you still got the Chiefs thing going? How you like the Chiefs? What you think they looking like?
Man, once again, let me get the Chiefs their respect. Andy Reid, he OG. You know what I'm saying? Pat Mahomes, he doing his thing out there with what he got. You know what I'm saying? They got some players. I don't know. So before the season, I said that the Chiefs was coming in last in the division. Let me start there. Let me start it there. That's what I said. Now I ain't gonna go back on it, even though I'm giving them boys they respect that I probably didn't do at the beginning with the Tariq Hill situation. Now, on the flip side, the Raiders ain't doing nothing clear what I thought they were gonna do. The Denver Broncos offensively ain't doing nothing that I thought they were gonna do. And the Chargers dealing with injuries. You know what I'm saying? Quarterback, Keenan Allen. They lost the tackle. Joey Bosa did a groin. I think he just went on IR. Like, they just caught the injury bug, and like right now, it's. I said the Chiefs weren't gonna make the playoff, but they on their way to win the division. So it's still early, and you know what I'm saying. Hoping in that process, those other teams click, and the expectation that we thought was gonna happen, hopefully it could get to that point, and it's still in that adjustment phase. You know what I'm saying? This the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? But when it was 16 games, you break it up in 4 games. The first 4 games, that was the first quarter. So we get through the first quarter. These dudes, they ain't have no preseason game for real. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't really get up out of their dudes or get into the meat and potatoes when they get in shape right now during this part of the season. Then, you know, we're going to start getting in the bye week. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just, see what this thing continue to look like. You know, Chiefs still got the clothes, even though they could be the most healthiest. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They look like they the most prime ready right now, but we still play the game.
We still play the game. We got a lot of games left.
We still play the game.
How do you look at the situation with Pat Mahomes and Ben-Ami and Coach Reed? You know what I'm saying? That situation. Do you think that's just a young player? Like I want to do. That's just seeing 2 different visions.
Yeah, right now, Pat Mahomes ain't a young player no more. Pat Mahomes is a vet. Pat Mahomes make the kind of money to where if he want to start being the a-hole, it's normal. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing, I say this: if they've been arguing, it's been behind the scene.
We haven't seen it.
The issue and the red flag to me is it's being seen in public now, and they lost the game.
Now it can be taken for whatever.
Now Pat Mahomes just like, hey, look, I always want to score. I always want to take a shot at it, and I didn't feel like we did that. But you know what I'm saying? When you don't. When that thing, you know what I'm saying, get out there and it's like that, then I think it could be a problem. So we gotta see how they follow up. They were supposed to play the Bucks this week, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying, prayers to the families out there in Florida during the hurricane, cause you know what I'm saying, that's a major issue right now. And you know what I'm saying.
What are they doing as far as that game?
I know the Bucks are down in the Dolphins. Down in Miami, they was practicing and stuff like that. They moved some of the players' family and different stuff.
So people in Miami, but not in Tampa Bay. So people in Miami, not in Tampa.
Yeah.
So Miami really isn't hit because of the hurricane.
No, I don't think. I think it was like Fort Myers and stuff. They was like Campbell played for the Green Bay linebacker. Yeah. They talking about, you know, houses, cars up on the water and stuff like that. Like it's tough, like it's real. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if Todd Bowles came out, head coach of the Bucks, came out, put out a statement like, you know, it's been more important about the families and the people and you know what I'm saying, lives lost and stuff like that. So it's serious business. So I don't know. I ain't really heard too much on that game. They postponing it. They just playing it somewhere else. Like I ain't really heard too much, but no, Florida got a lot going on right now. What teams you think in trouble right now?
What teams do I think in trouble right now? This early in the season?
This early in the season, who in trouble? I mean, we talked about a couple. The Raiders, the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? I think those some teams that
this might surprise you.
In trouble right now.
And I know they might think I'm biased because I'm saying, I think the Colts in trouble. I think Jacksonville might end up coming out that division.
Jacksonville?
I think Jacksonville might end up surprising a lot of people to come out that division.
I said something before the season with Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. Like, you know what I'm saying? Trevor Lawrence looking like a different guy this year. And I just think like he just had bad upper management last year with Urban Meyer. But we spoke on him a little bit last week with James Robinson and how them boys putting it together. And that defense, they playing.
But I think the Colts in trouble. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like they don't look the same they did last year. Defense supposed to be buying. They're not really buying like they once was. It's just, I feel like the Colts is one team. Another team I feel like is in trouble. Of course, the Chargers right now. Because they just hurt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They just banged up. They just banged up because of injuries. But it's still early in the season, so we don't know.
It's a lot of football got to be played. But I just think, too, though, on those people, it was just the expectation. Like I said, like I had them as the favorite to win in the AFC. The AFC East.
You talking about the Chargers?
No, the AFC South. I had the Colts to win the AFC South. You know what I'm saying? I expected the Jaguars to give them some fight. But yeah, I don't think you could have seen that. And there's some relationships out there. You know what I'm saying? Coach Gus Bradley, he the defensive coordinator of the Colts. He was the head coach of the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you know what's going on.
yeah.
So go and just speak on the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
When we had the whole thing about chemistry in here,
Facts.
about Devontae Adams and Derek Carr and their chemistry.
Facts.
Do you feel like they still had that chemistry? Or you feel like their problem is deeper than just them two?
I think it's bigger than them two. I think they still got chemistry. I think the first game Derek Carr forced it.
Mm-hmm.
They lost. The second game, he didn't try to force as much. Could have been some complaining on some other people. Like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't want to show favoritism. Mac Hollins, fantasy people, look.
Fantasy people.
Snatch him and put him on your bench. I know Hunter Renfro's supposed to come back, and they don't know how much he gonna dive into his touches and stuff like that. But keep an eye on that man. Hey man, you know what? Fantasy has been an adventure. It has been great.
Fantasy been trash. I'm 0-3.
And I'm 2-1 right now. Love it. Got one of my victories against Tony. I don't know if y'all remember. You know what I'm saying?
He made a video about me.
I had a defense. I got to chug my first beer, shotgun, Miller Lite. You know what I'm saying? Made me feel great. You know what I'm saying? Made me feel like the winner that I was. You know, and you know, willing to keep that streak going. You know,
I don't see how I'm losing with these boy right here.
Bruh. You know, things happen, man. The reason why we play the game. But fantasy going good. I'm 2-1. I'm number 2 right now in total points. You know, and I'm just fighting. Huh?
You trying to get to the bag?
That big bag is more total points. Man.
I'm like sitting like 7 point, but it's alright. It's 12 of us, so I ain't sitting too far back.
Everything in reach. It's early. We got a lot to play.
I do want ATM, but I know.
Somebody told me yesterday, stay down. But you know me, I always move. Somebody told me to stay down. Like basically with Russ right now, it's kind of like this is the floor. We haven't seen Russ ceiling yet.
Yeah, we ain't seen
you know what I'm saying? So it's like giving them some more patience to see what, you know what I'm saying, the Broncos do. I would like to see him take off and run more.
You think Russ?
I would like to see him just to make defenses respect that and honor that. Mm-hmm. You ain't got to run all the time, but just come out of there, just, you know what I'm saying, do what you do. Getting the first down. You ain't got to take to the crib. Just come out there, get the first down. Yeah. They want to get off the field. Give them something different. You know what I'm saying?
You think like having Tim Patrick hurt their offense though, having them out?
I want to say yes, because in their situation, as far as the organization, he was a reliable guy for them. Now, if KJ Hamler was healthy and that speed could bring a different dynamic to the offense, I'm not saying that they don't have other players. It's just somebody going to have to step up and stand out. You know what I'm saying, for things to be a certain kind of way. I think when you go to comparing players from a receiver standpoint, where he left at Seattle and what he's having in Denver right now, those are different kind of guys. You know what I'm saying? With DK and Tyler Lockett, Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, all ballers, but it's different kind of guys. So the way the offense is going to be ran is going to be different. I was expecting them to have a lot more success in the run game, which I felt like Russ was his best in the run game because the boot, the play action. But teams are smart. Teams know what side he want to roll to. So they blitzing from, you know what I'm saying, from the left side. Even if, you know what I'm saying, with the run game, just because we know what you like to do. So, you know, I agree with the football streets when they say Russ has earned the respect of the game, and the coach should trust Russ more on how much he studies to allow him to, you know what I'm saying, that sometimes call the game the way you see it. You know what I'm saying? It'll be interesting to find out what teams the coaches get a quarterback in primetime situation, call the game how you see it to win it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you in there with them, building out the game plan, seeing what you seeing, understanding what the defense like to do and stuff like that, it would be interesting. Like they say, let him cook. You know what I'm saying? Let him do him. So just like in preseason, you see them when he wasn't playing, they let him call games. And in them situations, if you like the way he called games and stuff like that, let him try it out. It don't hurt. They need to do everything in their manpower to get that offense clicking. Hey, week 3, you know what I'm saying? Week to week, we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it coming.
Gotta keep it coming. Week 3, you know what I'm saying? Going to a bit next week for the Falcons. Got Cleveland. Yeah. So we're gonna end this thing off 2-2 with the Falcons. Just throwing that in there. We're gonna be 2-2, and I'll be back next week to celebrate with you.
Okay, big expectations over there for that guy. 2-2.